Multilinguals, what's your "they didn't realize I could understand their language" story? I went to a psychiatric emergency ward once and asked for help, and if they were comfortable to speak English. I understand Danish but have a hard time making myself understandable in it, and didn't really feel like an idiot at a crucial time of my life. I stayed there for 4 days without anyone realizing I knew what they were saying about me right in front of me. 2 of the nurses thought I was cute. 1 doctor thought I was lying all the time. A patient thought I was a spy for the staff. A lot happened in those 4 days. It made my stay way more enjoyable than it should have been. I'm born to Russian immigrants. Whenever my family and I travel abroad, we speak almost exclusively in Russian, and tend to get better attitudes from people when they don't think we're American tourists. When I was 12 or so, we were in a cafe in Belgium, and a large group of 20-something guys walk in. My dad gets a worried look on his face, drops his voice, and says, "We are Americans right now." He explained to me later that they were members of the Chechen gang, at the time when Chechnya was in war with Russia, and anti-Russian sentiments were extremely high. When I was in Romania, as a Hungarian, I went to buy some food in a small town. I didn't know people in the restaurant were ethnic Hungarians, so when I asked for my food in English, the guy shouted, "A burger for this f***er," in Hungarian to the kitchen. I was curious how it would end, so I pretended I didn't understand. When he got me my food and asked for double the price, I said, now in Hungarian, "Look, dude, you can give me that for normal price or I'm leaving it, but I'm sure as hell ain't coming back to you motherfuckers ever again." I live in England, but I come from Poland and I am fluent in Polish along with English. A couple of days ago, I was ordering at a Subway when 2 Polish employees started talking. It went something along the lines of, "This fat ass wants chicken and bacon," and they laughed. On a side note, I feel like that's not that uncommon of an order, right? When it got to putting vegetables on the sub, I gave my order fully in Polish with a big smile on my face. The order cost me £4.80, but the looks on their faces were priceless. I'm a Black American. My dad was military and stationed in Korea from his late teens to mid-20s. He picked up on the language, and as a child he taught me. It was like our secret language to talk around my mom with. She hated it. Anyway, I went to college with a large Asian population. While me and some friends were in a study room, a group of students came and I asked us to leave so they could use the room, in English. There was no time limit, no sign-up, no nothing where they had that right. So I explained that we were here first. Why do they want this particular room? Then they start speaking Korean and say something along the lines of, "Ugh, of course the black bitch is being difficult. They've been here for a while. They need to leave. Maybe we can lie and say the professor reserved it." I respond, in Korean, "Call be a bitch in English so I can punch you, and everyone in this room knows why." Their faces turned bright red. They couldn't say anything. They just looked at me in shock and then left the room. I was on the subway in NYC a few months ago, when a family sitting across me was playing I Spy in Hebrew with their kids. The parents went around describing each person they saw on the train, so when they got to me, I decided to play along. I looked up from my book, made a funny face, and covered my face with the book before the kids could find me. The parents started laughing and said to their kids, "I spy someone who understands us." The parents and I shared a good laugh about it while their kids got really excited that someone else spoke Hebrew. They never figured out who it was, but it made my commute a lot more fun. I lived in Riga for a short time and went out almost every Friday to meet girls. Riga has a lot of visitors from UK, and I've spent a piece of my time in the US, so I generally speak English in the center. I feel more comfortable using it. However, I also speak Russian perfectly well. So I'm drinking a beer in a bar, and all of a sudden some cute Russian girl comes up to me and starts speaking English to me. She invited me for a beer with her and her friend. I didn't really have anything else going for me that night, so I agreed. What followed is an hour of them trying to make me buy them a Dom Perignon bottle and some really dirty talking about what one of them would do to me if I agreed. They also talked to the bartender, who knows me fairly well, how they're gonna rip me off big time and that I'm a foreign idiot. I ended up buying them 4 beers total out of decency. It was a lot of fun for a while, I'll give them that. Eventually, I got really tired of it all, Plus, my friend hit me up, so I just switched to Russian, thanked them for a nice evening, and left. Their faces were red from embarrassment and anger. Oh well, don't scam people. My wife is Indian and her family speaks Gujarati. I've spent many years trying to pick it up and have found it very difficult as there are no great resources that I am aware of to learn it. You just have to listen and try to guess the context. Anyway, over the years I got pretty good, and when my wife's aunt was visiting from Indian, she went right to my wife about how much weight I'd gained and how bad my diet must be. I understood every word and stopped her about 2 minutes into her rant. Turns out it didn't stop her from continuing. Some workers at an airport restaurant were saying very inappropriate things about my sister in Spanish. The women were criticizing her appearance, arguing with the men, who were saying very inappropriate observations about what she was wearing and what they would do to her. I ordered in Spanish. Workers all went silent and looked stunned. I asked detailed questions about the food in Spanish so that they understood I knew everything they were saying. I gave her my credit card, but she never swipped it, and a $40 airport meal was free. So at the end of the day, it was a win. Was a high school student in Toronto, but I speak Slovak, which is similar to Czech and Polish. I was going to school on the subway in the morning, and 2 good-looking women started to talk in Polish right next to me. I usually like to strike up conversations with fellow Central or Eastern Europeans. Unfortunately, they started talking about how one of them had a burning pee problem. With nowhere to move on the packed subway and no headphones, it was an awkward thing for a 15-year-old to hear from 2 ladies. It got a little worse later when they started talking about women's problems. Now, I have no issues with that convo nowadays, of course, but 15-year-old virgin me was a bit mortified. A long 45 minutes. Thank you so much for watching, and if you're multilingual, tell us your story in the comments below. Maybe your story will be the next one we tell.